Rise of the Ronin, it's an upcoming video game. It's better than I thought.
Ooh.
It takes guts to face me. I'll give you that.
Okay, so it's an open world samurai game. It's made by
Great.
Team Ninja,
Great.
who are the people behind Ninja Gaiden and the Nioh games. And when I heard that, I was like, oh no. Because the Nioh games are so hard.
They're great, but incredibly difficult.
Yeah, before From Software sort of took the crown, I remember when the Team Ninja, like hack and slashes, I remember like Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2 sort of being like the gold standard for like difficulty and in like a really good difficult game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went into this very apprehensive because I really bounced off Nioh 2 after I just couldn't get very far. And I was very pleasantly surprised. This game isn't all that super hardcore. For one thing, you start it up and it's like, choose a difficulty mode. I'm like, what? The combat is very important. The way that it works is essentially there's almost all of your attacks, at least as the game starts. Almost all your attacks are on one button, which is kind of fun. And you press like another one of the face buttons to do a deflect. Like in Sekiro, deflecting is super important. And like Lies of P and more Souls-likes are trending towards this, like parrying and deflecting.
Ghost of Tsushima, another samurai-themed game.
That's right, yeah. So a lot of them are kind of moving towards this, and that's very important in this, although you can also block, do good deflections to break their stamina bar.
I love it when you get rewarded for deflections.
It's a little dopamine hit every time you land one.
Oh,
Feels very good. It's not much more complicated than that. Obviously, there's loads of other different stuff you can do. There's loads of builds, loads of different weapons. You can switch out weapons, and there's different forms and styles and all this depth to it. But the core of it is that when you like enter combat, the camera sort of swings around to the side to put you like not quite Street Fighter wise, but like kind of at an angle.
2.5D.
Yeah,
Pokemon
almost.
angle.
Yes, that's it. It swings around to the Pokemon angle, and then you essentially just have to like block their attacks and attack back. And it feels really good. It's staggeringly violent and gory in a way that you kind of want a samurai game to be.
Yeah.
The next good surprise is the story is very comprehensible. It feels like old school Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
In its storytelling, in the way that it's like, hey, here's the story, here's what's happening. And while it is set in an open world, you're always being map marked from like A to B to C. This is the kind of game that I thought I would never want to play again.
Yeah.
I thought that like years and years and years of sort of churned out open world Assassin's Creeds and similar mediocre open world games had put me off this kind of thing forever. It'll be like just another open world full of tedious, repetitive, busy work.
Yeah. Places, camps to ambush and
Yeah.
clear out and...
Yeah, and it has all those trappings, but there's just something about it that is working for me and that is gelling. And I think what it comes down to, at the heart of it, is that when you're riding around on your horse,
Yeah.
and you can like see a sort of settlement that needs freeing
Yeah.
or a civilian in trouble, it always feels good to slide into action and just start hacking off limbs and deflecting and stuff like that. You always feel like you can take on pretty much any challenge. And you know, you die a bunch, but it's not like... The checkpointing is generous and,
Nice.
and stuff like that. It's certainly not the best looking game.
Yeah.
It does not... It's not as good looking a game as like Ghost of Tsushima
Yeah.
or Elden Ring. Things.
Oh, God.
But it's kind of...
love Ghost of Tsushima so much.
Yeah,
fun.
but it's pretty good looking in its own sort of way.
It's got its own aesthetic, has it? Would you
Yeah,
say?
that would be fair to say. I like the way that the open world is built. There's a lot of verticality
Yeah.
to it, and it's quite fun to travel around.
Games media thing.
Yeah. I did a boss fight, and at the end of the boss fight, the boss was like, "Please don't kill me," and I had the choice to kill him or not.
Please don't kill me!
So I spared him, and then later I was sort of traipsing through the open world, and I came across a guy, and he was like, "Hey, I'm being given a lot of trouble by this like guy over there at that house. Can you go sort him out?" And I went over there, and it was the boss, and he was like, "Oh no, you again? Are you here to punish me for my crimes?" And you had the chance to now kill him or forgive him again. And if you forgive him again, you can go back together to the first guy and kill him. Well, I'll do that, thanks. This is fun.
Wow, this is great.
I
Yeah.
love when like games give you fun narrative options that
Yeah.
just make
Yeah.
the gameplay that much more fun and silly.
It's got this nice tweak where you can, from everything that you wear, from all the clothes in your inventory,
Yeah.
you can choose a look, and then you can make that your look regardless of what you've actually got equipped.
Yeah,
So like that's just how your character will look now.
right.
And then you can equip like the things that are actually the best stats and armor, but it won't.
God of War Ragnarok lets
Yeah.
you do that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a
Because
nice touch.
sometimes you end up looking so weird just with
Yeah.
the stats.
Yeah.
The number of times I'm just like walking around like Fallout with like a
like a
fuzzy
bag on
winter
your head or
hat,
something.
a fuzzy winter hat and glasses, and I'm just like, I look super cool right now, and a lab coat, and it's just the weirdest look.
The actual outfits are really fun, and that's because the game is set at a point in Japanese history where the nation of Japan is considering its relationship with the West.
Right.
And there are some people who are like for it and for like increased trade
Yeah.
and sort of Western innovations like cannons and stuff like that, and some people who are dead against it.
John's off to the side being like,
But here's the odd thing. There's a weird confluence with other media I'm consuming at the moment. I also started watching that Shogun show on Disney Plus.
oh right, yeah, oh that's on my to watch list.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And on Netflix, Blue Eye Samurai.
That's on my to watch list.
Okay. Yeah.
Put down that toy and draw your sword.
But then you'll die.
Absolutely spectacular. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, maybe I should get Rise of the Ronin, don't. Watch Blue Eye Samurai
Oh.
before you do anything else. Rise of the Ronin's good, but Blue Eye Samurai is special. All these things are set in different time periods, but they all have this common theme of like Japan's relationship with the Western world.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm just sort of super immersed in those attitudes and the conflicts of ideas. And
Yeah.
so it feels like a world that, because I've been watching all this other stuff, that I'm like weirdly prepared for.
Done your homework.
The opening mission has you and your twin sneaking aboard a tall ship.
I have bad feelings about the twin.
You are kind of twins that have been raised together. It's
Right.
called the Veiled Edge, I think, is the
Right.
idea. Like you've been raised together and you are assassins who always work together and have like a very strong instinctive bond. But the game is set up to let you fight with another person. It has co-op, but it also has loads of AI fighters. And
okay.
you can switch to them. And it's really, really fun to be in a fight. And if you get hit, be like, nope, and just sort of
Switch characters.
yeah, just like
Nice.
immediately be like, AI, take the wheel, and like, and you jump into the one that's now behind the enemy and be like,
yeah.
and I mean, yeah, in terms of like things I personally enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
an opening mission in the dead of night on a big tall ship with a ornately jacketed captain sort of like brooding on the deck being like, yes, Japan,
This
sooner.
kind of like they
Yeah.
hold their arms like that a lot
Oh,
of the
yeah.
time behind
Oh,
them.
yeah, you know it. I think I was more ready than I thought I was for a story that is just quite direct and just pulls you from A to B to C, isn't super mystical, doesn't have that From Software thing of like you have to kind of pick it up with item descriptions or anything.
Yeah. It just actually tells you what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds more like leaning towards Ghost of Tsushima kind of vibes.
It is. Ghost of Tsushima is obviously a very good comparison, but truthfully, it's just a mishmash of all these different games.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's mindless, because that isn't fair, but it doesn't demand of you the same total focus that a lot of the other games I've been playing recently do.
Yes.
At first I thought it was going to be way too hard, and it wasn't, and then I thought it was going to swing the other way and be like a cookie cutter, boring open world. But actually, it's just a blast. It's a good way to spend a few hours of your evening.
You thought that you were going to get boring old flavourless popcorn, but actually what you got was sweet and salty with some toffee in there and a packet of minstrels dropped in as well.
Do you need lunch? Is that what?
Maybe.
I don't want to overstate it. It doesn't feel like a masterpiece. Again, I'm not that far into it, so like, you know, take
Yeah.
everything I'm saying. Who knows what the rest of the game
With a
holds.
pinch of salted popcorn.
With a pinch of salted popcorn.
Num 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 num. Just sounds like, yeah, this is fun. You're not having to think anything like overly hard, but like, you know, you still got to engage with it. You still got to put your hand in and up
Yeah.
to your face.
Yeah. With these kinds of
it's a
things,
bit
like
different.
it's like, why is Rise of the Ronin so much fun, but the last few Assassin's Creeds have not been fun to me at all? And I think it's all in the nuance and in the fine detail, because they're doing things that are
Bloat,
right.
concise.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
The writing is marginally better. The open world is marginally better laid out.
Yeah.
And all these things just combined for
Yeah.
a game that is just overall.
Yeah. I mean, sorry
Fun.
to bring up Ghost of Tsushima again,
Yeah,
but like,
that's right.
you know, for years everyone's been like, oh, we need Assassin's Creed in Japan. Why is this not happening? And apparently it is happening eventually. I don't know. But I got Ghost of Tsushima and I was like, done.
Yep. I'd be really interested to know your
just
thoughts
play that
on
again.
Rise of the Ronin having completed Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima, because
Yeah, that is on my. I will play it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna play it.
it's got like a level
Yeah.
of jank to it, a level of jankiness that I find actually quite pleasing. For
Yeah.
example, when an enemy kills you, it starts a vendetta. Now this enemy is in some way different and special.
Yes.
But for like the last kind of half hour I've been playing, I keep getting killed by wild boars. And when
Your nemesis is a pig.
yeah, and I'm killed by the boar and it goes vroom, vendetta. But there's just an NPC pig whose AI has gone back to its pre-killing me loop. Just like
That's the tusks.
you can find cats and stroke cats, and cats are collectibles, which is great. But you have to sneak up on them to pet them, and if you disturb them, it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. So that's Rise of the Ronin. For me, it is the most pleasantly surprising game of 2024 so far.
Nice. That's strong
Look,
opinion.
and
I'm going to give it a go.
And I'm going to keep playing it. And I
Great.
can't really give it any higher praise than that.
If you want to see more thoughts from our heads on video games and you're not subscribed, change that. You should subscribe. If
Do
you
it.
liked it, thumbs up. We've got Patreon if you want to ask us.
Join
you
it.
can ask Luke things on the Discord about it.
Like why are you so bad at Rise of the Ronin? Why are you getting owned by a wild boar over and over again?